Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Secret of Evermore. In the last part, we went to Fire Eyes Village and met everybody there. I legitimately think we did meet everyone there. The only thing I didn't do was, like, go to the alchemy cellar and ask for items, which I don't really need anyway. Anyway, oh yeah, and this actually demonstrates another glitch. The dog is sniffing not for an item that's at my level. It's actually sniffing that gourd that's up there. So yes, whatever mapping is done to figure out how the dog sniffs, it's not exactly perfect. So anyway, we move forward and oh god! Yes. An obvious beginner's trap, however, this is intended to get us an item. An item that will basically be necessary. Wow, and I thought a little sand in the shoes was irritating. Alright. Okay, now there's this guy with a green ponytail. Do you think you could rock a green ponytail? I doubt it. Slow creatures easily fall prey to sucking sand whirlwinds. You need the speed of a jaguar. Sounds like a good alternative to being soaked in sand. I can provide you with the jaguar tooth ring. It gives the wearer the ability to run with the speed of the fastest feline. And it's free with any purchase. Today only! Alright, so I need to buy at least one item. Ah, this is the other item I forgot to mention. Nectar. I believe this actually heals actually, I think this actually heals 120 and honey heals 300, so I might have been mistaken earlier today. So, might as well buy one pixie dust. Please take this jaguar tooth ring as my gift to you. Jaguar tooth ring, pretty much undeniably the best item, or the best non-active item you have in your alchemy. Oh wait, yeah, by the way, when you hold the alchemy formula, this will actually show the alchemies you have on you at your time, the levels it's at the moment, which is currently at level 0, or I guess level 1 actually, how much experience you have, which is obviously 0 so far, and the alchemy ingredients you have. But the other thing, but the other thing you have is a status screen, and this, where actually, oh wait, no, it's in what, shit. Yeah, it's been a while since I played. I'll just say that. But there is a place where you can find your key items. See if I can find it. Okay, this is not where it is. I am looking like a dumbass. Okay, fuck, I know you can... Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. Jesus, it's in the pouch. Yeah, so these are the charms and rare items. So far, the only one we have is the jaguar ring. Press A to jump with super speed, to run with super speed. What this does is it lets you sprint at the cost of the charge on your weapon. Basically, the idea being is you're losing energy because you're running. Maybe we should be a little more careful around those whirlwinds. You actually have to go in at least 2 whirlwinds because there are many points later on where you absolutely need the jaguar ring. I would not be surprised if it was legitimately impossible to beat this game without the jaguar ring. Maybe we should be a little more careful around those whirlwinds. Like Jack McCoy said in The Invasion of Mole People, stay focused and watch your step. So yeah, makes reference to dozens of movies that don't exist. Shit! Oh, God! Every single time you do that, you have to watch yourself and the dog come out. This is getting kind of old. We should really try to avoid those whirlpools. Come on. I know you're waiting. Alright, if you go a certain amount of distance, then it'll come back. I believe this time he complains about sand in his shoes. Oh, it wasn't the first time. Yeah. And of course, a little bits of animation are always a little bit amusing, though. But we've seen them. Alright. So yes. If you use the jaguar ring, you'll be able to brisk past the whirlpools as long as you're not running directly into them. Alright, picked up some ash. problem comes from when you're very close, but still have not. Yeah, the big problem comes from when you're running very close and don't start running. Shit. Alright. And yes, I am going on a collectathon of random items because, hey, there are two ways to find, or there are two ways to get these ingredients for alchemy. What you have to do is either find them or buy them. And hey, I prefer to save up my talents, alright? I like my fingernails. So yeah, Dirty Dean Ambrose has reached level 5. Wow. So yeah, some roots. And yes, you can switch to the dog! You can switch to the dog for this. But, yeah, and that's another bit of, interesting. Fuck. Okay, my finger slipped there, and I accidentally hit the attack button when I meant to be pressing the sprint button. If your whirlpool location is actually different from where, or your whirlpool location is very close to where you came in from, it will actually, the dog won't actually need to go in. He'll just sort of, run at you, because it's like, oh, hey, there you are. Oh god, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I'm lost! I don't know where you are! And, oh, you're right there. Alright. Always be worthwhile to pick up. There are two specific items you're going to want to pick up more than anything. Obviously, you have very little control in what you pick up because, well... because obviously if it's there, you don't choose what's in there, you just find it. But the items you want to miss the least are limestone and wax, because the best mid-game alchemy is something that utilizes something that utilizes limestone and wax. So you're gonna want to keep your hands on that. Anyway, be sure to always explore the barren undergrounds. So yes, I kind of like the look of this game more than anything. If you look at the character model, compared to Seiken Densetsu 2 Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 2 Secret of Mana is a very anime, Japanese, fantasy-inspired game, whereas this feels very Western comics-y. And Western comics always have this vibe where they're kind of on the edge sometimes of being almost horror-y. Like, I've been surprised how much horror stuff really comes out of comics that aren't Western-inspired. Like, I was reading Superior Spider-Man recently, and fucking... And, like, when Spider-Man fucking punched someone's jaw off. Or, quote-unquote Spider-Man, I should say. Now, there's something to be said about removing whimsy and high-point mood in stories. However, sometimes having such an edge, or having at least the hint of an edge, can make something feel very atmospheric, almost. And I kind of like the mood of just, like, this is a weird world. Much in the same way that another game that you might have heard of called Another World, or Out of This World, as it's known in the United States. It almost has a very similar vibe where it's like we're in a very different place, and we don't really know what's going on, but the mood is high, and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. So at this point, all I can do is follow the words of Fire Eyes and hope she's not crazy. Well, although then again, this is slightly more comforting than Out of This World, than Another World / Out of This World, where the only person you had that seemed to be on your side was Mikaruba. Anyway, hello friends. I don't get many visitors in the bug muck. I study alchemy. It's very powerful. Alchemy? You're not Strongheart, are you? No, but I know him. I saw him only a few days ago when he was walking toward the big bug. If you're going in after him, you should have another alchemy formula. Alchemy is quite useful. You take a little of this, a little of that, and poof! It's like magic. Let me give you the hardball formula. It's an effective weapon. In spite of what he just said, this is actually a pretty shitty item. Just mix 1 pot crystal and 1 pot clay. and give it a good toss. Would you like to purchase ingredients? From what I understand, most of this shit is overpriced. But, might as well purchase a little bit of it. At least I can demonstrate what a lot of these items look like. The thing about a lot of these alchemies is that they get better for later in the game. But, or they get later with repeated usage. But if you don't do that, they suck. But it's kind of the universal feeling of a lot of other ones. Like, there's another one that sucks for the first, like, 3 levels, but once it's up to, like, level 3, it's really freaking good. Alright. As far as I can tell, the weapon skill, the variable that determines weapon skill is determined purely by how many enemies you kill. So your skill with a weapon does not depend on the difficulty of the adversary. Killing a mosquito will give you just as many points for your skill at swinging a club that killing a bone snake will. Now, all of these enemies actually have appropriate names. For example, and the reason you can know this is because with targeting, you can actually look at them. So that's a mosquito, as I'm sure you can tell. Alright. So, fun fact, mosquitoes actually kill more people in the world than people do. Anyway, and what about that grub? That's a maggot. Pretty darn big for a maggot, wouldn't you say? And this guy down here, his name is Tarskull. I'm sure that's a movie reference. Oh! And yes, that's where our 33 evasion comes in. What determines some of our stats depends on, obviously, certain things we're equipping, but certain other ones we have very little control over until we can get items. For example, we will visit in the second chapter of this game an area where we can get items that will impact our stats a lot more directly than weapons normally would. Ah! That's the other thing. It wasn't just those plants that can fall apart and leave behind some items. Everything can do that. However, most of the time what happens is they go into kind of like a weird sandy goop. And somehow you think to search through that. Anyway, find some more roots. I'm sure people might not like the brown and gray, but I gotta say I kind of like I kind of dig the atmosphere of this. Almost just like, first of all, compiled the music with everything. Like, it kind of gives this vibe of just like, you're not welcome here. And yet it still feels somewhat imaginative. Then again, this could be the nostalgia goggles going on right now, because this game is really, this game is one of those ones I did play a lot of time, or spend a lot of time with when I was younger. After all, when you have the strategy guide, you have a lot more reign to just say, oh, maybe I can explore this. Like when I was playing Pokemon, and I normally never would have thought to go into the frickin' caves to find a Tyrogue, or to find a guy who would give me a Tyrogue. But hey, I had the strategy guide, so I knew what I was in for. Anyway, ooh, this is weirdly H.R. Geiger-esque art, or maybe I'm just getting that impression because this really does feel like Aliens-y vibe. Ooh, wow, these guys take a lot of damage. Jesus, these Tarskulls. Enemies cannot damage each other, so you may think, oh wow, we can maybe do something like Herbert Moon's Last Stand, where Herbert Moon killed everyone. But nope. Unfortunately, enemies cannot damage other enemies. So, fortunately for you, yep. The dog. Now, the dog right now is not that helpful because I'm deliberately making him sniff a lot of times. Actually, no, he's still really helpful. You will not believe how unbelievably broken he gets in the last act of the game. Alright. And later in the game, I will also get an item that is unbelievably broken. It has limitations, but it's still broken. Anyway, What I've been doing so far is I've been exploring all the corners of these worlds because I'm trying to leave no stone unturned and trying to display to you guys every little bit of the game that I know of. For all I know, there could be some super awesome secret scene where it turns out the entirety of Secret of Mana 4 is in this game. Because, yeah, somehow. Alright. I'm actually wondering about Seiken Netsutu 2, which would technically be Secret of Mana Gaiden, if you will. Anyway. Killing these mosquitoes is like, I'm sure you're saying, it was like, what, Carlos, you moron? Why are you killing these harmless bugs? Well, slowly increasing my... Ooh, I'm very close to reaching level 2. No! You jerk. Nah. Ah, so my bone crusher has reached level 2. So what can happen there? Now I can charge it up. This is me physically holding down the button to charge it up. So what was before a sort of simplified version of charging, now it is the literal thing. But as you saw there, I do a lot more damage than I normally would. And I'm hoping the accuracy is better on that, because it fucking should be. Alright. So yeah, more than double damage. As I've said, a lot of the mechanics of this game is to pick your spots and hit them when you can. And this kind of fits perfectly in right there. And considering the enemies also seem to have the exact same rhythm of attack you do, it really does fit. And it looks like my accuracy isn't all that aided. So yeah, there's a bunch of little bugs with... Ooh! Yeah, there's a little bit of a graphic effect. So yeah, there's a bunch of little bugs. For example, if you miss an attack and then the enemy hits you and you guard it with an evasion, you will actually start charging up right from the beginning. An issue with the charging method is that if you release the attack, you always have to swipe once before you'll continue. Yeah, but it looks like that's gonna have to be it for this part of Let's Play Secret of Evermore. Join us next time when we enter the big bug's asshole. See you guys then.